Hello and welcome to our first look webinar for Nutshell's drip sequences. I'm Ben Goldstein, the VP of Marketing here at Nutshell, and with me today is Chris Cain, Nutshell's VP of Product Development. Hey Chris, how do astronomers organize a party?
I don't know how, Ben.
They plan it. I'm being told to keep going. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We're gathered here today to show off a major improvement to our Nutshell marketing platform. Of course, we're talking about drip sequences. Chris Cain, what are drip sequences anyway?
Hey, everyone. A drip sequence is a series of marketing emails that's triggered by a specific action. So, for example, that could mean when a lead is created or enters a certain stage, or it's won or lost. When that action takes place, the sequence is deployed automatically, and those emails are delivered to the recipient over a specific time frame.
And for the folks watching right now, I can tell you that we use drips all the time at Nutshell. If you've ever signed up for a free trial of our software, you probably received a series of emails that educated you on the benefits of using our product, hopefully got you excited about becoming a customer. We also use a 2-email drip sequence for folks who download content resources off our website. We have a win-back drip for leads that didn't close. You know, being a relatively small team, we just don't have the time to send all these emails manually. So drip sequences give us the ability to get the right messages in front of the right subscribers at the right time without the need for manual effort. So Chris, I'm sure a bunch of people watching this have used a tool like MailChimp or Constant Contact in the past to send marketing drip sequences. Is there anything that sets Nutshell's drip sequences apart or provides some unique advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that having the ability to tie your marketing efforts to sales outcomes is fundamental to a successful team. We launched Nutshell Marketing under that premise, and drip sequences are no different. There's no shortage of email on the internet, and what actually matters is defining the purpose of the drip sequence. So, yes, your emails are being clicked on, they're being opened, they're being engaged with, but your real goal of the sequence is to win a sale, maybe get an RSVP to a broadcast. Nutshell drip sequences allow you to define that goal and track its success. For that same reason, we've built this into Nutshell sales automation. So that means you can configure a series to start maybe when a lead enters a particular stage, when a lead is won, maybe you're doing a win-back campaign, and when the lead is lost or canceled, you want to start the series. And then finally, let's think about how drip sequences work for sales teams. Imagine you're the sales rep working in your CRM, looking at a contact, looking at a prospect. You can understand which messages they've received, which they've engaged with, maybe even which they're currently receiving and where they are in your marketing funnel. Nutshell will put those drip sequences front and center on the Nutshell timeline, making sure everyone's on the same page.
So listen, everybody, Chris is going to give everyone a whirlwind tour of Nutshell marketing drip sequences in just a moment, but a couple of notes to start with. First, if you have any questions during this webinar, please post them in the chat window, and Chris and I will answer as many as we can at the end. If you don't have any questions, feel free to throw in your favorite dad joke. And the other thing is, there are always pricing questions whenever we do webinars like these. So I just wanted to point out that we're adding drip sequences to Nutshell Marketing at no additional charge. If you already have a paid subscription, Nutshell Marketing, you're good. This is already in your account. And for folks who don't have a Nutshell Marketing subscription or any Nutshell subscription at all, we'll drop a link to our pricing page in the chat, and you can calculate how much our software would cost for your team. Okay, without further ado, take it away, Chris. Let's see how drip sequences work.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. This is always the hardest part. Let's see. Sharing my screen. Are we looking at a tab that says drip sequences at the top? Looking for confirmation. All right. Got the confirmation. We're good. All right. So I'm going to get this started. Just real quick, earlier this year, we launched Nutshell Marketing, and since then, we've seen hundreds of customers send upwards of millions of emails through our platform and be extremely successful. Today, we're so proud to announce yet another pillar there, which is drip sequences, and I'm going to walk you through them. So I'm going to jump real quick. We're looking at a list of drip sequences. I've created a couple here. I don't really think anyone wants to watch me go through and create marketing emails. That's actually on the previous webinar if you'd like to see how to use Nutshell's awesome email creation tool. But I'm going to go ahead first and jump into what I've created, which is a webinar drip. So like Ben talked about, drip sequences are a series of emails, and you can see that here. We're looking at 3 different emails. We have the first one, which is a webinar. Maybe after that, 3 days later, I want to send something like a follow-up promo. And then finally, 3 days later, there's an email for a demo. Now, the goal here, of course, is for someone to eventually sign up and give a demo. And as I create this, I'm going to try to figure out when do I want to send it, what is my goal here, and maybe what do I want to do with the drip sequence. So right now we're in a draft state. We haven't activated this. We're not sending to anyone. And I'm going to do the first step after creating my content, which is adding a start trigger. So a start trigger decides, okay, when will this automatically send to recipients? At what point in time should someone receive this? And because the goal here is to actually generate a lead, win a sale, I'm going to say when a lead is created in my default pipeline, I want to start sending this webinar drip. Now we have a couple other options you can configure here, like stop sending when the lead is closed. Maybe you want an optional delay, which I'm actually going to choose here. We're going to say something like 15 minutes after the lead is open. And we don't want to send them right away when they fill out a form on our website, but sometime shortly after that. So we'll add that. That's our start trigger. Again, that's that moment in time we actually send to anyone who fills out a form on our website or when a new lead comes in a nutshell. Now I'm going to think about, okay, what's the goal of this sequence? That's over here. Well, in this case, I think my goal of the sequence is actually to win a lead. But going through these other options, maybe I have some other process where I want my reps to be tagging leads. Maybe I actually want a lead to be created. And of course, I was bashing on links being clicked in emails, but sometimes that is your goal. Just have someone engage with the link. You can pick a specific link. Maybe that's like an RSVP or actually viewing a piece of content on your website. Those are the goals that Nutshell offers for drips. So I'm going to say lead is 1. And again, I think that's going to be in my same pipeline. We also talked about this in the intro, but I can decide if I want to stop sending messages when the goal is met, or maybe I want them to receive all of these. Because this is a drip sequence where I want them to actually win the sale, I'm going to stop sending messages when that goal is met. So I'm going to add that. And when I add my goal, I get one final option, which is to add a next step. And this is yet another automation on top of drips. What happens after my goal is met? Well, in this case, I'm going to add whoever I won to my audience of customers because, we won the lead. They're going to be a customer and we'll add them there. All right. I got my start trigger. I got my goal. I have my next step. We have a couple other details here. Of course, we bring UTM parameters into things. Maybe you only want to send these things during business hours, all sorts of good stuff there. I'm going to really quickly, I have a pretty good sequence, but I want to show how easy it is to just add a fourth message. So I'm going to start from this demo, and this is going to be a please sign up last second. I'm getting a little desperate here if they've already received 3 messages. I'm adding a 4th message. This is what it looks like to compose a drip sequence. So, we call this the mini map on the left side. These are all the messages in your drip, and I can quickly jump between these, sort of look at my content. Again, this is Nutshell's email editor. Please check out the previous webinar if you want to see how awesome and easy to use that is. But I'm going to jump into my 4th message, and I'm going to quickly say, hey, first name, please sign up. My boss, and is really hoping that I make more sales. All right. Pretty cool there. Let's get rid of that image. We're going straight to the point, not even going with a demo. This is, we'll hit them with the cheers. All right. That sounds good. We got my 4th message. Let me jump back to the drip sequence. I can decide how late that might be. Maybe we're actually sending this 6 months down the road as a last ditch effort. I wouldn't actually recommend this just for demo purposes. Wanted to show that off. All right. So we have our 4-message drip sequences and we're ready to activate it. So activating up in the top right actually means we're going to turn this thing on. And that doesn't mean it's going to send to a whole bunch of people. That means it's going to start listening for whenever a new lead is created. What happened in my start trigger? Just like when you send a broadcast or a newsletter through Nutshell, we give you a very comprehensive checking just to make sure all your messages are in line. You have the legal things like unsubscribe link, mailing address, all your subject lines are in order. You've configured a start trigger. Your from address is verified and not going to land in spam. I can review that. All right, I'm going to activate that right now. So I've activated my drip. Got a big active up here, have a play button, sent to 0 recipients. Again, when you activate a drip sequence, it doesn't actually send to anyone, but now it's going to wait until a lead's created to actually put people into that drip sequence. And we're gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna jump over to my people list. I got some people in my demo instance here. Joel, you're the lucky candidate today. And I'm just gonna create a demo lead really quickly. I'm not even gonna do anything with this. I'm gonna make sure it's in my default pipeline and I'm gonna save that. So, again, this is sort of a demonstration to have Joel just come to my website and created, filled out a form, maybe that creates a lead. So now I can actually go down to Joel and look at what content he's receiving. This is a little awkward. It looks like I've actually set up 2 drip sequences and forgot to talk about another one. That's fine. Same kind of situation. And we can see the different sequences that Joel's going to receive. So he's going to see that webinar email that I set up in 15 minutes. He's going to get that. We see that right down by the Nutshell timeline. Maybe I'm thinking I'm a sales rep. I want to send him an email. Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't. I know that my marketing team's going to send him an email in 15 minutes, welcoming him to Nutshell. He's in the trial. Really nice to have that here. With any automated tool, it's really nice. Automations are happening in the background. We're saving time. I don't have to do a lot of the work, but I want to make sure it's actually doing what I said. So does this email look right? Does it actually have Joel's name in there? Is it the content that I set up? We can get a quick preview of that. Make sure this email looks really good. It does. I'm feeling really good. I also want to quickly jump back to the lead because, of course, the lead is usually where I'm working if I'm a sales rep here. And I can scroll all the way down and see the same info here. I'm actually going to jump back to my webinar drip. Let's do that. And now I'm back in my drip. And as we can see, we have 1 recipient queued. We haven't actually sent any emails yet, but it's waiting in this first email here. And I can actually click on these recipients. I can see, okay, Joel's going to get this email in 14 minutes. Maybe I screwed up and I have hundreds of recipients here. I'm 1 click away from removing all those. Everything's looking really good. I can view that message, remove him there. Feeling really good about this working right. I want to touch on one more thing really quickly, and that's the ability to make sure that I can change stuff after I've activated. So, it's a little scary to actually turn this on. Stuff's happening in the background. Maybe I screwed something up. And in this case, I actually did. And I planted a very good typo here. So if I go into my webinar drip, got any plans for Friday? Oh no, that's terrible. Some of these tools that you use drip sequences for, once you turn them on, you have to totally scrap them and start a new one in order to change anything. We know fixing typos, changing timeframes, that should be as simple as a couple clicks, and it absolutely is. So I'm just going to quickly go to edit message here, and I'm going to remember how to spell the word Friday, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to publish my changes. Make sure everything's good. Got my subject line, looking pretty good. I didn't change much. Let me publish that. Boom. My typo's fixed. I got my message. It's looking right. I'm feeling really, really good. Same kind of thing. I jump back to my drip sequence. Maybe 15 minutes is actually wrong. Maybe 3 days is wrong. Nutshell's going to do all that work for you. Make sure that you're sending messages at the right time. If you change these delays, stuff happens. You can change your messages after you start sending them. All right. I'm going to take a really, really quick pause because I want to switch over to another tab. And unfortunately, I can't do that without pausing my screen. 1 second. So that's sort of what it looks like to create a drip sequence, turn it on, really, really simple monitoring of what's going on. Now we're going to look at what it looks like if you've actually been sending a drip for a while and sort of look at the engagement and what that all looks like. This part is where I have to make sure everything is in order. And hang with me here. All right. Let me get another confirmation that we're looking at a screen that says in trial drip at the top. All right, got the thumbs up. Cool. So we're actually in our own Nutshell instance, and we're looking at our in trial drip sequence. So we've been using this internally for a couple months to making sure it works correctly, and we find it very successful. This is a 4-message drip sequence that we send when anyone signs up for a trial in Nutshell. So in our case, whenever a lead enters the executing stage in our pipeline, we're going to kick off this sequence. We have 4 messages here. And as we can see, we have 608 deliveries for this one, 544 for that. We have our open rate, our click rate, our bounce rate, and we can scroll all the way to the bottom. We have 27 recipients queued there. Sort of talking through what our drip sequence does here, very similar to the one I set up. We have a goal, the lead is 1 in that pipeline. And when we're done, we're going to add them to the customer's audience. So pretty similar to the example I just walked through. But I want to take a look at what this engagement tab looks like and how you can sort of monitor, are your drip sequences performing correctly? Are they doing what you want them to do? So right here, we have rolled up engagement of all the messages that are delivered at the top. If you've used Nutshell Marketing, this is extremely familiar to how broadcast and newsletter engagement looks. So we have our open rate, our click rate, our unsubscribe rate, our bounce rate, how many people have received every message, what's our goal met percentage. And as we scroll down, we can see different when people are actually exiting the drip sequence. So maybe 7 people unsubscribed here. We had a couple bounces at the beginning. Other people are unsubscribing from other messages. These are just top level statistics for your drip sequence. I'm going to quickly jump into this first message. And again, this looks pretty familiar to the original flow on actually drafting a message. So I have my quote mini map on the left side so I can jump between messages. But here we're looking at engagement. So this is totals for this message. So again, delivers, opens, clicks, unsubscribes. And then I have a really nice graph down here to show sends, so opens, and so clicks over a specific time frame. So if you use Nutshell and you're a Nutshell customer, this is probably pretty familiar. This looks just and works exactly like Nutshell's reporting. I can bucket this down to the day. I can hover over these and see different things. I can actually click in just view that day. I can pick sort of any time frame I want. Let's look at the last 30 days again. And then I could just bucket that by day, week, custom timeframes, what have you. That's a quick look into the engagement. I'm going to go to this final tab over here for recipients. And this is the Nutshell people list. And I can see who's receiving this drip. I can pick any sort of filters to filter that down. I can pick all of my Nutshell columns, custom fields, different companies, email interactions, activities, show that all here. I have a pretty slimmed down view here, so we're only looking at a couple things. But I want to focus on this drop down up here. So I'm looking at all recipients of email 1 for our mini in trial drip. But maybe I just want to see who opened that email. Okay, 190 opens, awesome. Maybe clicked, all right, great. Unsubscribed, who didn't like this content, really important to know, though unfortunate. But maybe if I saw 190 people open, I just select all those, add them to a new audience. I can do that here. I can edit them. Really powerful stuff. I can also just quickly flip between messages, which I love about the mini map, being able to see, okay, 119 opened this third message. Let's look at message 4 engagement. Of course, it's a little lower because some people are exiting, signing up, whatever. Really, really nice UI, I personally think, to be able to see everything that's going on for certain messages and how those perform. Let me jump back here, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I actually think I might be done. That's all I wanted to cover on the engagement side of things. You know what? We're going to kick it back over to you, Ben. That is a whirlwind demo. I'm sure there's lots of questions, so I'm going to stop there and turn the floor back over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Chris. I'm sure our customers are going to love getting their hands on this thing. And we've got some fantastic questions from our viewers so far. So let's run through a few of them right now. The first one I wanted to get to was actually asked by a couple people. Trish writes, what is the difference between these new drip sequences and regular personal email sequences? And Dean asked something similar. How is this different than the email campaigns that were already there? Excellent. And I knew this one was coming, so I want to get to this one first. And we use both of these tools on a daily basis in the Nutshell growth team. And I get that it might seem confusing at first because they're both used to deliver a series of emails automatically. But these marketing drips and personal email sequences are different in a couple of very important ways. And it's not just sales team uses this one, the marketing team uses that one. So let's break this down a little bit. And the first most obvious difference is simply the way they look. So drip sequences are collections of marketing emails, which means they can look like anything you want them to. You can break up the text in the columns, you can add animations and header images, you can choose a quirky name for the sender field. So you're speaking as the voice of the brand in these marketing messages. So your drip emails, they don't need to look like an email that you personally send to a friend or colleague. On the other hand, personal email sequences they're automated sales emails. And they're meant to look like any other email that you write to a sales prospect or a client. They're sent from your own name and email address. They're delivered in plain text most of the time. Maybe there's an embedded bear GIF involved if you really want to get fancy with it. But this is one-to-one communication. It's meant to look like one-to-one communication. So personalization is a lot more important.
Yeah, I think I'd add one more thing, and that's just how these emails behave. So, with a personal email sequence, they automatically stop when you get a reply. And that's because a sales sequence is to start a conversation. With a marketing drip, you often want your recipients to see the entire series, whether or not a reply or whether or not they reply or not, because every message in the drip serves a purpose for educating or persuading that recipient.
Yeah. I hope that helped, Trish and Dean. I'd be happy to clarify that further if anyone needs a further discussion on that point. You can email us at growth@nutshell.com if you want to chat about it further. Okay, next question. There's a lot of technical questions on this list, all really good questions. But Robin asked a couple of interesting ones. And one was, can you stop a drip after it was started, but before a goal was met? Chris, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I guess there's a couple different answers. Right away, a drip sequence goal doesn't have to be met. You can manually stop a drip sequence whenever you'd like. However, those messages are going to go out unless that goal's met. You can jump in whenever, whether that's from the lead page or the person page, and stop that actually en masse. But Nutshell doesn't have an automatically stopping a drip sequence on a particular stage. That's maybe another differentiator between personal email sequences and drip sequences. Now, we're also exploring other ways to stop drip sequences like that, but right now it's totally based on goals and meeting those goals.
Yeah, and Robin also asked a related clarification question, which was, once a drip has started, can you edit an email in the drip series?
Absolutely. Yep. And any email within the drip series you can edit, whether that's fixing typos or completely changing the content. We have a whole publish flow to make sure that's exactly what you're looking for. And I didn't really show it, but we also have the ability to send test emails, just like broadcasts and newsletters, just making sure your drips are looking correct before you're actually sending those to your customers or prospects.
Yeah. Another question from Emerson. Does the sequence have to be associated with a lead or set of leads, or can a sequence be initiated for a group of contacts?
Yeah, excellent question. And absolutely, it doesn't have to be associated with leads. All my examples were lead based, but this could totally be used without leads at all. And we built that very intentionally, whether you're using audiences or just tagging people or whatever that is, the lead doesn't have to be involved at all.
Okay. Marissa asked something similar. Can I create a drip sequence for a group of contacts using a tag?
Yeah, short answer, yes, absolutely. And we've seen customers do that already, whether that's bulk editing with a tag to kick them all into the drip sequence, whatever have you. Yep.
Yep. Chuck Smith asks, is the result of a trigger always another email? Can you trigger an assigned task, for example?
When we're talking specifically about drip sequences in this context, it's always going to be sending an email. Now, if you're leveraging Nutshell sales automation based on different goals or what stage your lead is in, that's something that can trigger an automated task or set up different goals for your leads. But when it comes to drips, the result of a start trigger is going to be to start sending that drip. Yeah.
Scott has a good one. This is sort of like a meatier question about just like the Nutshell marketing architecture overall, but how does an audience list differ from a regular list of people?
That's a really good question, and something that we're exploring heavily. So, I'll try to break it down in 30 seconds, but audiences are set groups of people that you put them into audience. That's not going to change unless you explicitly add people to that audience or pull them out. For example, let's say a customer audience where I decide when someone's a customer, I add them to that audience. Where you think of a list of people in Nutshell, whether that's something like a save filter, if someone goes and changes something, it's automatically going to pull them out of that list based on a set of rules. We think audiences are extremely valuable because it allows you to track sort of their outreach and their growth over time. And basically, you're in charge of who goes into that audience and who comes out of it, regardless of what other attributes are changing. We're exploring sort of, how that connection can get even stronger in Nutshell to allow you to send to maybe your saved lists as well. But right now there's a clear distinction between sort of auto updating lists and set audiences that you create.
Yeah. There were a couple other questions about pricing. I'll just, restate, Nia asked, does this cost something extra? I'm not the main user. Jessica, she asked, is the tool an additional cost? So a lot of the folks watching this probably already have a subscription to Nutshell Sales, which is our CRM and sales automation platform. Nutshell Marketing is an additional charge, monthly charge based on your number of marketable contacts. That includes the email designer for newsletters, for broadcasts, now for drip sequences. So this is a new tool that is included in Nutshell Marketing. But yes, that is an additional monthly charge based on your number of marketable contacts. If you don't have a subscription to Nutshell Marketing yet, again, visit nutshell.com/pricing, and that'll give you a pretty solid estimate of what your all-in cost will be for your team. Emerson, another good one. I just can a sequence be created such that emails distribute on a schedule versus upon a set of prompts? Yeah. So, well, Chris, I mean, you can speak to this better than I can, but like it's triggered on that user action, but after that, it goes out on a set schedule. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So whatever you've set up your delay between messages, that's the schedule that it's going to follow.
Mm-hmm. William asks, I currently have constant contact integration. Do I still need constant contact now with your new feature? Well, William, you won't need constant contact anymore. Nutshell offers this functionality natively. Contact our support team if you need help getting your contacts from your email marketing program into Nutshell. But the goal is for you to do all of this in one platform so that your sellers and your marketers have a single shared database. There's transparency on what your sellers are doing, what your marketers are doing. And we believe that this is just a better way of doing business. Running your sales and marketing operations out of one tool. For one thing, it naturally encourages alignment and cooperation between your sellers and your marketers. And that's really, that is like the key benefit for doing this thing to begin with. We're not trying to, say, oh, we have something that's better than MailChimp or better than constant contact. The whole goal is to have all your contacts from sales and marketing in one database, so everybody is on the same page. That is the benefit of doing it all within Nutshell. And I'd love to connect with you more on that one-on-one. Just shoot a message to growth@nutshell.com. Nutshell marketing only plays in email, correct? No text SMS functionality yet. No, not yet, Nicole. I'm sorry about that. Unless Chris has something he's hiding from me.
I'm sorry to say I don't.
I've gone through a lot of these. Well, yeah, I wonder if you wanted to speak. We only have like 3 minutes left in this webinar. Goodness sakes, time flies when you're having fun. Alex writes, is there an option to create web forms using Nutshell? And then he also asked about SMS Drip. But I wonder if there's a good opportunity, like if there's anything looking ahead that you're working on, Chris. Drip sequences are a major milestone in having a full-fledged, full-featured email marketing automation tool in Nutshell. But this is just one step among many. And I know your team is sort of thinking long-term. Was there anything else that you wanted to discuss in terms of like what's coming up ahead?
Yeah, I'll just say, we're definitely not done. Our goal has always been to take Nutshell from just a CRM to bring in marketing and become a growth platform. And part of that absolutely includes an easier way natively through Nutshell to get people, leads, filling out forms from your website and bring them directly into Nutshell. And we're exploring just that right now and absolutely plan to bring that to Nutshell marketing. I think there's no way we can compete without that feature. So feeling really, really good about sort of the future of Nutshell marketing. And like Ben said, Drip Sequence is a huge milestone and we're off constant contact and feeling great about it. And yeah.
Excellent. Yeah,
I don't know if I was allowed to say that on the webinar. I apologize. I'm going off script.
We're about to run out of time in about a minute 30. So thanks so much to our VP of Product Development, Chris Cain, for lending his time today. For our customers watching this, we encourage you to test out Nutshell Drip Sequences for yourself. Just go into your Outreach tab. It's the bullhorn icon over on the left. You'll see that new entry that says Drip Sequences. Just click that to get started. If you have any other questions about drips that we didn't get to today, I know we missed a couple in the chat. Just hit the question mark icon near the bottom of the sidebar in your Nutshell account to learn more on our help center or send a chat message to our support team. And remember, even if you don't have a paid subscription in Nutshell marketing, any Nutshell customer, any Nutshell trial user even can start building and testing marketing emails, newsletters, drip sequences completely free of charge. Everyone gets 150 cents per month on the house. And finally, for those folks who are not currently Nutshell customers or even trial users, shoot us an email to growth@nutshell.com. Myself or another member of our team will be happy to answer any follow-up questions, anything that wasn't answered in the chat, or just help you get set up in a trial. That's all, folks. Until next time, thanks so much for watching and happy nutshelling.